ਖੁਸ਼ੀਆਂ ਭਰੇ ਸਮਾਗਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਕੱਤਰ ਹੋਏ ਹਾਂ। ਦੋ ਪਰਿਵਾਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਮੇਲ ਪ੍ਰਥਾਏ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਹਜ਼ੂਰੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਅਤੇ ਕਰਤੇ ਦਾ ਸ਼ੁਕਰਾਨਾ ਅਰਜ਼ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਜੁੜ ਬੈਠੇ ਹਾਂ। We are gathered in joy and in thanks to celebrate the Anand Karaj of Parvinderjeet Singh Bhullar and Manpreet Toor. We are also gathered, Sat Sangat Ji, in Sat Sangat form to offer our heartfelt congratulations to Parvinderjeet Singh's parents, Sardar Baldev Singh and Sardarni Surinder Kaur Ji. Congratulations to both of you for a job so well done in first raising, nurturing and educating, and then presenting the world with this precious gift in the form of your beloved son, Parvinderjeet Singh. Congratulations are also due to Manpreet's parents, the late Sardar Taranjeet Singh Toor and Sardarni Jasbir Kaur, for all the contributions and for all the service that both of you have done to raise, nurture, educate, and then gift this world with your precious beloved daughter, Manpreet Kaur. ਵਿਆਹੁਤਾ ਜੋੜੀ ਨੂੰ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਮਾਪਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਤੇ ਦੋਹਾਂ ਪਰਿਵਾਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਰੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਦੀ ਤਰਫੋਂ ਮੁਬਾਰਕਾਂ ਅਤੇ ਵਧਾਈਆਂ ਹੋਣ। You know, the world takes this entire process of raising, nurturing and educating our next generation for granted. This entire task of gifting the world with responsible adults who will work towards making the world a better place. This entire process is taken for granted. After all, it's what parents do, isn't it? This is what parenting is all about, isn't it? So what is there really, to talk about? Because it is something that we have all taken for granted. So I thought that I would share with you, Sat Sangat Ji, the fact that there is a spirituality that tells us that raising, nurturing and educating and then presenting the world with responsible adults who will work towards making the world a better place is the core of that spirituality. And pyareo, this spirituality is our spirituality. This spirituality is the spirituality of Guru Nanak. And it is your spirituality, Manpreet Kaur and Parvinderjeet Singh. It is a spirituality that does not take this aspect of life, the aspect that I'm talking about, parenting, nurturing, educating, presenting the world with adults whose entire mission in life would be to leave the world a better place than the one that gifted to us by our parents. That's a spirituality. The spirituality of Guru Nanak and our spirituality does not take this aspect of life for granted. ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਦੀ ਇੱਕ ਪੰਕਤੀ ਹੈ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਰਾਗ ਵਿੱਚ, ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਪੰਨਾ 26 ਤੇ, ਵਿੱਚ ਦੁਨੀਆ सेव कमाइयै तां दरगाह बैसण पाइयै कहो नानक बांह लुड़ाइए। ਜਦੋਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਜੀਵਨ ਦਾ ਮੁੱਦਾ, ਜਦੋਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦਾ ਲਕਸ਼, ਜਦੋਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਜੀਵਨ ਦਾ ਮਨੋਰਥ ਇਹ ਬਣ ਜਾਵੇ ਕਿ ਮਨੁੱਖਤਾ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ, ਵਿੱਚ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਸੇਵ ਕਮਾਈਏ, ਫਿਰ ਕੀ ਹੋਵੇਗਾ? ਫਿਰ ਸਾਡੀ ਰੂਹਾਨੀਅਤ, ਸਾਡੀ ਜ਼ਮੀਰ, ਸਾਡੀ ਸੁਰਤ, ਇਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਫਿਰ ਇੱਕ ਬੁਲੰਦੀਆਂ ਪਕੜੇਗੀ, ਇੱਕ ਬੁਲੰਦੀਆਂ 'ਤੇ ਪਹੁੰਚਦੀ ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਬੁਲੰਦੀਆਂ ਪਕੜਦੀ ਹੈ। ਸਾਡੀ ਸੁਰਤ ਉੱਚੀ ਉੱਠਦੀ ਹੈ। ਕਦੋਂ? ਵਿੱਚ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਸੇਵ ਕਮਾਈਏ। ਜਦੋਂ ਜੀਵਨ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਮਨੋਰਥ ਹੋਵੇ, ਇਹ ਲਕਸ਼ ਹੋਵੇ ਕਿ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ, ਤਾਂ ਦਰਗਾਹ ਬੈਸਣ ਪਾਈਏ। ਦਰਗਾਹ ਸਾਡੀ ਜ਼ਮੀਰ ਹੈ। ਤਾਂ ਦਰਗਾਹ ਬੈਸਣ ਪਾਈਏ ਦਾ ਭਾਵ ਹੈ ਫਿਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਹੀ ਜ਼ਮੀਰ ਦੀਆਂ ਨਜ਼ਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਦਰ, ਮਾਣ ਤੇ ਸਤਿਕਾਰ ਪਾਉਣ ਦੇ ਕਾਬਿਲ ਹੋ ਜਾਵਾਂਗੇ। ਤਾਂ ਦਰਗਾਹ ਬੈਸਣ ਪਾਈਏ, ਵਿੱਚ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਸੇਵ ਕਮਾਈਏ, ਤਾਂ ਦਰਗਾਹ ਬੈਸਣ ਪਾਈਏ। ਤਾਂ ਦਰਗਾਹ ਬੈਸਣ ਪਾਈਏ ਦਾ ਭਾਵ ਹੈ ਫਿਰ ਸਾਡੀ ਜ਼ਮੀਰ ਰੂਹਾਨੀਅਤ ਦੇ ਤਖਤ 'ਤੇ ਬਿਰਾਜਮਾਨ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹ ਬੈਸਣ ਲਫ਼ਜ਼ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਇਹ ਤਖਤ 'ਤੇ ਬੈਸਣ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ, ਬੈਠਣ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ। ਫਿਰ ਸਾਡੀ ਜ਼ਮੀਰ ਰੂਹਾਨੀਅਤ ਦੇ ਤਖਤ 'ਤੇ ਬਿਰਾਜਮਾਨ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੀ ਰੂਹਾਨੀਅਤ ਸਾਡੀ ਜ਼ਮੀਰ ਦੇ ਸਿੰਘਾਸਣ 'ਤੇ ਬੈਠਣ ਦੇ ਕਾਬਿਲ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਹੈ। ਇੱਕ ਇੱਕ ਅੱਖਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਾ, ਇੱਕ ਇੱਕ ਪੰਕਤੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਤਨਾ ਰਾਜ ਭਰਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਜੀਵਨ ਦਾ, ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਟੇਕ ਫॉर ਗ੍ਰਾਂਟਡ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੈਂ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਨਾ ਕੁਝ ਮੋਤੀ ਚੁਣ ਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਪੇਸ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਨਾ, ਆਸ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰਵਾਨ ਹੋਵਣਗੇ। ਤਾਂ ਦਰਗਾਹ ਬੈਸਣ ਪਾਈਏ, ਫਿਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀਆਂ ਹੀ ਨਜ਼ਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ, ਆਪਣੀ ਹੀ ਦ੍ਰਿਸ਼ਟੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਦਰ, ਮਾਣ ਤੇ ਸਤਿਕਾਰ ਹਾਸਲ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਮੈਂ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਅਰਜ਼ ਕਰ ਦੇਵਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਕਿ ਮਨੁੱਖ ਦਾ ਆਪਣੀਆਂ ਹੀ ਨਜ਼ਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਗਿਰ ਜਾਣਾ, ਧਿਆਨ ਦੇਣਾ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਵੱਲ, ਮਨੁੱਖ ਦਾ ਆਪਣੀਆਂ ਹੀ ਨਜ਼ਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਗਿਰ ਜਾਣਾ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ ਗਿਰਾਵਟ ਹੈ। ਤੇ ਆਪਣੀਆਂ ਹੀ ਨਜ਼ਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਾਣ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤ ਕਰਨ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਹੋਰ ਉੱਚਾ ਮਾਣ ਨਹੀਂ। ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਨੇ ਆਖਿਆ, ਵਿੱਚ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਸੇਵ ਕਮਾਈਏ ਤਾਂ ਦਰਗਾਹ ਬੈਸਣ ਪਾਈਏ। ਆਪਣੀ ਹੀ ਦ੍ਰਿਸ਼ਟੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਦਰ, ਮਾਣ ਤੇ ਸਤਿਕਾਰ ਹਾਸਲ ਕਰ। ਤੇ ਅਗਲੀ ਪੰਕਤੀ ਹੈ, ਕਉ ਨਾਨਕ ਬਾਂਹ ਲੁੜਾਈਏ। ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬਾਂਹ ਲੁੜਾਈਏ ਲਫ਼ਜ਼ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਇਹ ਮੁਹਾਵਰਾ ਹੈ, ਇਸ ਐਨ ਈਡੀਅਮ, ਬਾਂਹ ਲੁੜਾਈਏ। ਇਹਦਾ ਭਾਵ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਿਰ ਉੱਚਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਜੀਣਾ, ਆਦਰ, ਮਾਣ ਤੇ ਸਤਿਕਾਰ ਹਾਸਲ ਕਰਕੇ ਜੀਣਾ। ਦੇਖੋ ਨਾ, ਸਾਰੀ ਜੀਵਨ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਨਿਚੋੜ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਪੰਕਤੀਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਗਈ। ਵਿੱਚ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਸੇਵ ਕਮਾਈਏ ਤਾਂ ਦਰਗਾਹ ਬੈਸਣ ਪਾਈਏ, ਕਉ ਨਾਨਕ ਬਾਂਹ ਲੁੜਾਈਏ। ਸੋ this is Guru Nanak's verse that I was just talking about, which is on page 26 of the Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, ਵਿੱਚ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਸੇਵ ਕਮਾਈਏ ਤਾਂ ਦਰਗਾਹ ਬੈਸਣ ਪਾਈਏ। When our goal, our objective and our purpose in life is to serve humanity and to serve mankind to the best extent possible, that's the meaning of which Duniya Sev Kmayeay. Duniya here means humanity and mankind. And when we go about doing exactly that, serving fellow human beings, then we become elevated within our own conscience and dignified in our own eyes. And there is no higher dignity than that. There is no higher superior dignity than the dignity of our conscience and the dignity in our own eyes. You know, we always worried about what other people think about us, but in the ultimate analysis, when after a long day at work in life, when we go to bed at night, what matters is what is going on in our conscience. Have we managed to get the dignity and the elevation in our conscience? We become spiritually elevated and divinely dignified within ourselves. That's what happens when Vich Duniya Sev Kmayeay becomes our objective in life. And Pacha says, Ta dargah basan paye. It means our conscience gets to sit on the throne of divinity within us. That's the meaning of Ta dargah basan paye. Dargah is the throne of the divine within us, the seat of divinity within us, our conscience. And if there's someone who asks me to put Guru Nanak's spirituality into one sentence, this is what I would say. I would say that Sikhi is all about elevating our conscience. It's all about elevating our mind and our consciousness. This is the epicenter of Guru Nanak's spirituality. This is the crux of Sikhi, elevating the mind. The path of spirituality. Ra means path. The path of spirituality that is laid before us by Guru Nanak is this. And this is the crux of Sikhi, the crux of Guru Nanak's spirituality. That elevating our mind and our consciousness, that is the epicenter of Guru Nanak's spirituality, the crux of his Sikhi. And the way to get to that epicenter, to that crux, the way to elevate our conscience is by striving at all times to give our best in service to mankind and humanity. Vich Duniya Sev Kmayeay. Pyareo, that's the spirituality to which we belong. The spirituality of Guru Nanak. Manpreet ji and Parvinderjeet Singh ji, as you come together to grow your lives, in a partnership of marriage, of Ananda Karaj, I'm sure you will undoubtedly walk many paths together. You will walk the path of love together. You will walk the path of family together. And you will walk the path of your professional careers together to lead you to success in life. You will also want to walk the path of spirituality, the spirituality of Guru Nanak, which, when stripped bare of all the layers of man-made ritual, when stripped bare of all dogma, of all outward dress and symbols, comes down to this one sentence of Guru Nanak, Vich Duniya Sev Kmayeay, Ta dargah basan paye. Kaho Nanak, baah ludaiye. When you see someone walking, literally, when you see someone walking, swinging his arms, it means he has achieved something. He is proud of something, he is walking with his head high. Or वो कहते हैं बाल उड़ा के तुरना. So, this is Guru Nanak's spirituality at the end of the day, when you strip it of all dogma, all outward dress, all symbols, all rituals and all extraneous issues and practices. This is what it is. Vich Duniya Sev Kmayeay, Ta dargah basan paye. Walk the path of giving your best in service to mankind and to humanity. Walk the path of making the world a better place than the one that was gifted to you by your parents. Walk the path of inspiring other human beings around you to do the same. That pyareo is Sikhi in a nutshell. That is Guru Nanak in essence. That is Sikh spirituality at its core. And this is the message of Gurbani in spirit. Parvinderjeet Singh, in case beta, you noticed, and in case you're wondering, and in case anyone else in the Sangat is also wondering why, when I mentioned the couple in the last 2 times, I mentioned Manpreet first and you second. No, it was not in error. So let me give you 3 reasons that will explain why I did that, why I mentioned her first and you second. Now, the first reason is simply to ground you. To ground you in the reality that this is how life is going to be from now on. Yes, son, she is going to come first. Everyone here who is happily married and intends to stay that way knows what I'm talking about. I see some people laughing. Your laughter is a sign that you are married and that you agree with me. And that's a good thing. So that's the first reason. The second reason is that this is exactly the way Guru Nanak wants it. Exactly the way he wanted it. In his Bani, in Guru Nanak's Bani in the Guru Granth Sahib, Guru Nanak and of course the other Gurus gives eminence and prominence to the female. Not many of us may be aware of this or may not even know that a good majority of Guru Nanak's Bani is written from the feminine perspective. In other words, Guru Nanak wrote as if he was a female. Let me give you 2 verses to illustrate the point. Look at this verse. Gali asi changiyan, achari buriyan. Changiyan, buriyan, this is feminine vocabulary, but the author is Guru Nanak. Here's another example. Sakhi, aao sakhi, vas aao sakhi, asi perka mangal gave. Sakhi is the word for female companions. A woman would refer to her friends as sakhiyan, saheliyan. So in this Shabad, the Guru is calling all of us as his female companions. This can only be if he considered himself to be female and then write these verses from the female, from the feminine perspective. When the Pandit came to Guru Nanak to adorn Guru Nanak, the child, with the sacred thread, the Janevu. Now we all know he refused it after a debate with the holy man, But not many of us are aware of the debate itself. I don't intend to go into the entire debate, but just one main point. What Guru Nanak actually told the Pandit. Well, the first thing Guru Nanak, who was 11 then, as I said earlier, asked the Pandit, the first thing he asked him was, why isn't my elder sister Nanaki wearing it? And the Pandit said, this sacred thread, Janevu, is not meant for the female. And Guru Nanak said, well, if something is not good for the female, then it is not good for me. If something is denied to half of humanity, can you imagine Guru Nanak saying, Vich Duniya Sev Kmayeay, ta dargah baisan paiyai, and here he is accepting something that is denied to half of the dunya, to half of humanity, to half of mankind. How could he accept it? That's what he said. If something is denied to half of humanity, and that is woman, that is the female gender. If something is denied to half of humanity, then I will deny it too. So, you see, Pyareo, Guru Nanak was the world's first feminist in 1469. It's easy to talk about gender equality in the 21st century, as I am doing here. But to do so in the 15th century could result in you or anyone losing your life, or at the very least losing your stature in society. In fact, Guru Nanak was declared out of his mind for advocating precisely such values, such virtues, such principles. And he writes in his own Bani, page 991, Maru Mahalla Pehla, Koi Aakhe Putana, Ko Kahe Betala, Koi Aakhe Admi Nanak Vichara. Putana means someone who is out of his mind. Koi Aakhe Putana means some people say, I am out of my mind. Then he says, Ko Kahe Betala. Betala is someone who is out of sync with everything around him or her. Out of sync with everything in society, out of sync with culture and all of the cultural norms. Ko Kahe Betala means some people say that about me. Guru Nanak is saying that. Koi aakhe admi, the next verse, Koi aakhe admi, Nanak vichara. Vichara means poor fellow. So Guru Nanak is saying, yet others are saying, poor fellow. Does not even know what he's doing. Does not even know what he's saying. So to say in 1469, the things that Guru Nanak just said, the things that I told you about the equality of sexes and equality of gender, the response of society and culture and the world is, you don't know what you're talking about. But Guru Nanak's response to all this, koi kahe putra, koi betala, Nanak admi bichara, what is Guru Nanak's response? This is something we need to pay attention to. This is his response in the same Shabad in the next line. Hukam pachane khasam ka. Tuji avar siyanap kai. Meaning, all that I'm advocating, all the values and all the principles that I'm advocating are upon realizing the law of nature. Hukam pachane khasam ka. So, gender equality then is the law of nature. Gender equality is the hukam of the Creator, says who? Says Guru Nanak. Gender equality is the law of nature, is the hukam of the Creator. To deny gender equality is to go against that law, that hukam of the Creator. Imagine saying, in 1469, gender equality is the law of nature. You know what it is? It's actually presenting 21st century spirituality in the 15th century. That is Guru Nanak. That is your Guru, beta, beti. That's your Guru, Sar Sangarji. That's my Guru, that's our Guru. So that's the second reason why I mentioned Manpreet first and you second. It is in line with Guru Nanak's teachings. The third reason is a little personal, but I will share it anyway. You see, beta, your parents attended all of my Gurbani classes, where I taught them some of the Sikhi and Gurbani values and principles that I'm talking about here today. Your mother attended all of my classes. Your father, exactly as he is doing today now, dedicatedly videotaped all of my lectures for uploading on YouTube. So they both thought, it'll be a great idea if I came here today and shared these values with you. You see, when I was making the point in my Gurbani classes that Guru Nanak wrote a great majority of his Bani from the feminine perspective, these were the two who asked me why. Why did Guru Nanak write Gurbani as if he was a female? So I'm going to give you the same explanation that I gave them in class. I said, well, when Guru Nanak saw the entirety of humanity, he saw that humanity was divided along two lines. One can call it two groups, two lines in Punjabi. Dopal, two queues, male and female. Now the numbers were equal, they have always been equal. But one side was strong, powerful, overbearing, controlling and domineering. And the other side was weak, was denied her place in society and oppressed. This is what Guru Nanak did. He decided to cross over from his line to go stand in the other line that consisted of the weak. Imagine Guru Nanak coming to stand in your line, whatever your line is. Imagine the impact of having Guru Nanak standing in your line, standing next to you. And Guru Nanak wrote about this in his Bani. He writes on page 15, Nicha andar neech jaat, Nichi hu at neech, neech weak, oppressed, low, lowly. Nicha andar neech. Nicha andar neech jaat, Nichi hu at neech. Nanak ਤਿੰਨ ਕੈ ਸੰਗ ਸਾਥ ਵੱਡਿਆਂ ਸਿਓ ਕਿਆ ਰੀਸ ਜਿੱਥੈ ਨੀਚ ਸੰਭਾਲੀਅਨ ਤਿੱਥੈ ਨਦਰ ਤੇਰੀ ਬਖਸ਼ੀਸ਼. Translation: Nanak stands with the weak, Nanak stands with the lowly, and Nanak stands with the oppressed. He tells us why in the next verse. This is important. Why does he want to do that? Because jithe neech samaliyan. Because where the oppressed are lined up, where the weak and those that are denied their place in society, where they are in line, the blessings of the Creator are abundant for those who stand in this line and then strive to uplift those that society considers weak and lowly. Jitha neech samaliyan, titha nadar teri baksis. So today, beta Parvinderjeet Singh, your parents wanted me to convey these messages of Guru Nanak to you in the presence of the woman that you have chosen to share your life with. In the presence of the woman that you have decided to spend your life, your love and your happiness with. And I wanted to share them with the entire Sangat. You see, Sat Sangat ji, women will only get their place of equality in our homes, in society and in the world, if and only if all of us males cross over and stand alongside with them. Stand in their line, in their queue. That is what Guru Nanak did, and that is what Guru Nanak taught us to do. A Sikh always stands on the right side of every divide. ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸੰਦੇਸ਼ ਮੈਂ ਵਿਆਹੁਤਾ ਜੋੜੀ ਦੇ ਮਾਪਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਂਝਾ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਤੇ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ, ਉਹ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸੰਤਾਨ ਦਾ ਪਾਲਣ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਪਰਵਰਿਸ਼ ਇੰਨੀ ਮਿਹਨਤ, ਮੁਸ਼ੱਕਤ ਅਤੇ ਇੰਨੀ ਘਾਲਣਾ ਨਾਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਕਿ ਸੰਤਾਨ ਲਾਇਕ, ਸੁਚੱਜੀ ਤੇ ਹੋਣਹਾਰ ਬਣੇ ਤੇ ਐਸੀ ਯੋਗ ਤੇ ਕਾਬਲ ਸੰਤਾਨ ਨੂੰ ਫਿਰ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੀ ਝੋਲੀ ਪਾਉਣਾ, ਦੁਨੀਆ ਨੂੰ ਅਰਪਣ ਕਰਨਾ, ਐਸਾ ਕਰਨਾ, ਐਸੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਮੇਵਾਰੀ ਨਿਭਾਉਣੀ, ਦੁਨੀਆ ਅਤੇ ਮਨੁੱਖਤਾ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਨੀ, ਵਿੱਚ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਸੇਵ ਕਮਾਈਏ. ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇ ਧਰਮ ਦੀ ਨੀਂਹ ਅਤੇ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦੀ ਬੁਨਿਆਦ ਬਸ ਇੱਥੇ ਖੜੀ ਹੈ. ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੀ ਰੂਹਾਨੀਅਤ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਗ੍ਰਸਥ ਦਾ ਮਾਰਗ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਨਾ, ਜੋ ਕੁਝ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ, ਸੁੰਦਰ ਸੰਤਾਨ ਦੀ ਪੈਦਾਇਸ਼ ਕਰਨੀ ਤੇ ਸੰਸਾਰ ਦੀ ਝੋਲੀ ਪਾਉਣਾ, ਇਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਗ੍ਰਸਥ ਦੇ ਦਾਇਰੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿ ਕੇ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ. ਇਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਗ੍ਰਸਥ ਦੇ ਘੇਰੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿ ਕੇ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਗ੍ਰਸਥ ਦੀ ਸੀਮਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿ ਕੇ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ. ਤੇ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਪਦੇਸ਼ ਮੈਂ ਵਿਆਹੁਤਾ ਜੋੜੀ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਂਝਾ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਤੇ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਹਾਂ, ਉਹ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿਸ ਧਰਮ, ਜਿਸ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ, ਜਿਸ ਜੀਵਨ ਦੇ ਰਾਹਾਂ 'ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੋਨੋਂ ਪ੍ਰਵੇਸ਼ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੋਨੋਂ ਕਦਮ ਰੱਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਉਸ ਜੀਵਨ ਨੂੰ ਗ੍ਰਸਥ ਦਾ ਮਾਰਗ, ਗ੍ਰਸਥ ਦਾ ਰਸਤਾ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਨ. So Parvinderjeet Singh and Manpreet ji, the journey on which both of you have embarked is called the journey of Grist. So let me go on and explain the word grist. It actually has two meanings, because the root word of grist, which is grah, which is from Sanskrit, also has two meanings. So the root word of grist is grah. Grah is Sanskrit. The Punjabi equivalent of grah is a kar. So the first meaning of grist is very simple. Punjabi is Gharelu Jeevan, the life of a householder, of family life. Sikhi is a spirituality that has this precondition of being a practicing householder within a family. And the reason for this is that grist comes with a whole host of worldly obligations, responsibilities and duties. Responsibilities and obligations towards the self, towards the family, towards the community and society and the world at large. So Guru Nanak is telling us that genuine spirituality is undertaken only and only when we undertake, we perform and we fulfill all of these worldly and temporal duties and responsibilities to the very best of our ability. The spirituality of Guru Nanak, or Sikhi as we call it, does not separate the two. Sikhi does not draw a line between temporal and divine. Sikhi teaches us that we need to strive to blur that line, because there is no line of separation. Vich Duniya Sev Kmayeay. The save is supposed to be done in temporal obligations, temporal responsibilities within the family, to ourselves, to society, to the world at large. How can we do that if we draw a line? So there is no line between, there is no separation between the temporal and spiritual, between worldly life and divine life. They don't teach us all these things in our Gurdwaras, unfortunately. In fact, they tell us to keep our temporal lives separate from our spiritual lives. Don't they tell us that all the time? Our clergy, in essence, they tell us to spend Monday till Saturday pursuing our temporal lives, and then spend Sunday pursuing our spiritual lives. Or they tell us to spend 1 hour a day sitting in some corner meditating, or doing some religious activity such as chanting, perhaps reciting prayers. 1 hour a day, sit in a corner and do all this. And then the rest of the day you can mingle with the world in pursuing our careers and other worldly pursuits. So this separation of temporal and spiritual life, the separation, the divide, the drawing a line between the two, actually goes against the Sikhi of Guru Nanak. It contravenes the messages of Guru Nanak and Gurbani. So recall the verses I discussed earlier, the verse of Guru Nanak on page 26. Vich Duniya Sev Kmayeay ta dargah besan payeay. That our goal, our objective and our purpose of life is to serve humanity and to serve mankind to the best extent possible. So how will humanity be served if we set aside just 1 day a week, Sunday, to pursue our spiritual lives? How will humanity be served if we spend 1 day, 1 hour a day or 2 hours a day sitting in a corner meditating, doing religious activities such as chanting or reciting prayers? Guru Nanak Paatshah ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਇੱਕ ਬੁਨਿਆਦੀ ਆਦੇਸ਼ ਸਾਂਝਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ, ਤੇ ਇਸ ਆਦੇਸ਼ ਦੀ ਬੋਲੀ ਹੈ ਧਰਮ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਤ। ਇਸ ਦਾ ਭਾਵ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕਿਰਤ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣਾ ਧਰਮ ਬਣਾਉਣਾ। ਧਰਮ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਤ ਉਦੋਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਿਰਤ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣਾ ਧਰਮ ਬਣਾਉਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਤਾਂ ਕਿਰਤ ਨੂੰ ਧਰਮ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਦਾ ਭਾਵ ਹੈ ਕਿਰਤ ਅਤੇ ਧਰਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਫਿਰ ਫਾਸਲਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਹਿ ਜਾਂਦਾ, ਕੋਈ ਅੰਤਰਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਹਿ ਜਾਂਦਾ, ਕੋਈ ਫਰਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਹਿ ਜਾਂਦਾ, ਕੋਈ ਉੱਥੇ ਲਾਈਨ ਜਾਂ ਲਕੀਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਖਿੱਚਣੀ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਕਿਰਤ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਇਹ ਸਾਡਾ ਧਰਮ ਹੈ। ਜੇ ਇਹ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਫਿਰ ਧਰਮ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਤ ਦਾ ਕੀ ਮਤਲਬ ਹੋਇਆ? ਤੋ ਇਸ ਦਾ ਭਾਵ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕਿਰਤ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣਾ ਧਨ ਬਣਾਓ। ਕਿਰਤ ਇਹ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਤੂੰ ਕਿਰਤ ਐਸੇ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਰ ਕਿ ਤੇਰੀ ਕਿਰਤ ਤੇਰਾ ਧਰਮ ਬਣ ਜਾਵੇ। So Guru Nanak gave us this concept that I'm explaining in Punjabi just now. Dharma di kirt. Dharma is spirituality and kirt is all the things we do in a temporal life, temporal world to earn a living, kirta. So what this phrase Taramati Kirt means is that we conduct our kirt in such a way that our kirt becomes our spirituality. Kirt becomes our taram. Make our kirt into our taram. We do our temporal duties in such a way that all of our worldly duties become our spirituality, and then we live up to Guru Nanak's verse, Vich Duniya Sev Kmayeay ta dargah besan paye. So, Guru Nanak's message is that real spirituality, genuine spirituality, actual spirituality is when, for instance, a doctor practices medicine every day in his life with such care, with such concern, with such love for humanity and mankind, and such compassion that his practice, his kirta, his means of living becomes his spirituality. When a teacher, an accountant, a carpenter, a lawyer, a road sweeper, whatever your kirt is, whatever your means of earning a living is, when this kirt is done in passion, in kindness, honesty and sincerity, then the kirt itself becomes spirituality. That is Taramadi Kirta. And the foundational unit for Taramadi Kirta is the family. The laboratory for Taramadi Kirta is the family. Hence the pivotal role of Grist in Guru Nanak Sikhi. So this is what both of you are stepping into, Parvinderjeet and Manpreet, into Grist. And I am hoping, in the mind of my mind, that you are actually realizing that the spirituality of Guru Nanak is actually very modern, very 21st century, very practical, very realistic. And it can be done by just about anybody who inhabits this earth from life to death. It is we who have twisted and turned it and made it into a concoction of some God knows what measure, that everybody is so afraid when we talk about Guru Nanak's spirituality. So that was the first meaning of the Grist. The second meaning of Grist comes from the word Kar, which is mind. For instance, the Gurbani verse, which the Ragis were singing towards the end, Jai Kar Kirt Akhiya. Kar means the mind. The translation on the screen was house. That is a literal house. Wrong translation. Kar means the mind. The place where the kirti, the appreciation, the love and the realization of the Creator, Jai Kar Kirt Akhiya. That is not going to happen in the house of four walls. It's going to happen in the mind, in the conscience, in the spirit. Jai Kar Kirt Akhiya, meaning the mind within which the Creator stands honored. Or as Guru Arjan writes in another verse, Sab kich kar mein, bahar nahi. Meaning all is within you, within your mind. So Grist means the spirituality of mindfulness. And this is opposed to the spirituality of mindlessness. So Guru Nanak is advocating that we come out of the mindlessness of dogma, the mindlessness of ritual, and the mindlessness of sitting in a corner for an hour chanting some mantras. That we come out of the mindlessness of wearing symbols to display our religious zeal, in the mindlessness of thinking that our spirituality is measured by the way we dress, by our garb and our outward image. Guru Nanak is telling in Grist, you need to extricate yourself from this mindlessness and step into mindful spirituality. Guru Nanak's spirituality is a spirituality of mindfulness. So this is the second meaning of Grist. Mindful of what? I think that's what you want to know now. So within the context and purpose of our gathering here today, allow me to share 4 things that Guru Nanak is asking us to be mindful of. Just 4 things. 1, be mindful always. Both of you, the couple, and everybody in the Sangat. Be mindful of the centrality of one, or ek, as we say in Punjabi. Ek Akal Purkh, ek Oankar, ek Guru, ek Granth. Center your life around this one Creator and you will become one. You will become one with creation. You will become one with humanity, and you will become one with mankind. You will become one with the oneness of being one. This is Guru Nanak's spirituality. So the first thing to be mindful of. Now, embedded within all these ones is the inherent message of Guru Nanak to become one with ourselves and to become one within ourselves. What this means is that we need to be one in thought, in speech, and in action. In other words, our thoughts, our speech, and our actions must be one in unity and in concord. Guru Nanak says this. Let me quote you his verse. Jo ji hoye. Ji is the mind, the conscience. Jo ji hoye means what's in your mind. Jo ji hoye so ogave. That should emanate. That should be expressed. Jo ji hoye. How is it expressed? Moh ka kahya vao. Expressed as words that come out of our speech. So the full verse is Jo ji hoye so ogve moh ka kahya vao bija bek bange amrt vekho eo nyao. So let me just talk about the first verse. So what is in your mind should be in your speech, and your speech should translate into your actions. So be mindful of your thoughts. Couple, Sangarji, be mindful of your thoughts because your thoughts become your words. Be mindful of your words because your words will become your actions. And be mindful of your actions because at the end of the day, it is your actions that will define you, will tell the world of who you are, what you are. So that's the essence of the centrality of one, being one and becoming one in thought, word, and deed. So that's the first thing. 2, be mindful that for the most part, things in nature come in pairs, in twos. That's why it's point number 2. There are 2 sides to every story. There are 2 sides to every coin. The key is in finding the balance between the 2, while maintaining the independent identity of both sides. So there are 2 sides here. Both sides must remain independent and understand that there are 2 sides to everything and find the middle ground. Nothing ever that was, is, or shall be interesting in life will ever be one-sided. Nothing one-sided is ever interesting. It's got to be 2-sided. 3, so that's second. Third, be mindful that there's a trinity in Grist. Grist is a 3-party arrangement, or what the lawyers call a tripartite. 3-party. The 2 of you and the Guru. That is why the Nanda Karaj of the Sikhs is done in the presence of the Guru. And that is why the Shukrana function today is also held in the presence of the Guru. Because you like it or not, you're connected now. 3 of tripartite. So each of you can take or claim one side of the triangle. It doesn't matter which side you take or which side your partner takes, yeah? Because it is an equilateral triangle. It's a triangle of equal sides. Make the Guru the base of the triangle. And you pick the other 2 sides. And when the Guru is the base of your triangle and you have taken the other 2 sides, then the other 2 sides will keep holding in rain or in sunshine, for better or for worse, in joy and in sorrow, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health. The 2 sides will keep holding, provided the base is the Guru. Guru Nanak wrote a song, a beautiful song. I'm calling it a song because the occasion is such. It's a Shabad. But the title of the Shabad tells you it's a song. So forgive me, song, Shabad. So he wrote a song for all those who will want to enter this kind of relationship. The triangular relationship. The 2 sides and the base of Guru. Anybody and everybody who wants to have this kind of a relationship in your life, in your family, in your marriage, Guru Nanak wrote this song for you. The title of the song is Sohela. Sohela Raag Gaudi Deep Ki Mahalla Pehla. The word Sohela means a wedding song, a marriage song. ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, ਸੋਹੇਲੇ ਦਾ ਭਾਵ ਹੈ ਵਿਆਹ ਦਾ ਗੀਤ। ਸੰਸਕ੍ਰਿਤ ਦਾ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਹੈ ਸੋਹੇਲਾ, ਜਿਸ ਦਾ ਅਰਥ ਹੈ ਆਨੰਦ ਦਾ ਗੀਤ, ਸ਼ੋਭਨ ਸਮੇਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਗਾਇਆ ਗੀਤ ਜਾਂ ਮੰਗਲ ਦਾ ਗੀਤ, ਸੁਹਾਗ ਦਾ ਗੀਤ, ਅ ਸੌਂਗ ਆਫ ਯੂਨੀਅਨ। ਐਕਚੁਅਲੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਨੇ ਸੋਹੇਲਾ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਦੇ ਅਰਥ ਕੀਤੇ ਨਾ ਸੂਹੀ ਰਾਗ ਵਿੱਚ। ਜੇ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਦੀ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕਰਨੀ ਉਹ ਹੋਰ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਸੂਹੀ ਰਾਗ ਦੀ ਪੰਕਤੀ ਹੈ, ਸੱਚ ਮੰਗਲ ਗਾਵੋ ਤਾਂ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਭਾਵੋ ਸੋਹੇਲੜਾ ਜੁਗ ਚਾਰੇ। ਇਹ ਸੋਹੇਲੇ ਦੇ ਅਰਥ ਨਾਲ ਕਿ ਸੋਹੇਲਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਨੇ ਵਰਤਿਆ ਨਾ, ਇਸ ਸੰਦਰਭ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਰਤਿਆ, ਸੱਚ ਮੰਗਲ ਗਾਵੋ। ਸੋ ਦ ਵਰਸਸ ਆਫ ਦ ਲਿਰਿਕਸ ਆਫ ਸੋਹੇਲਾ, ਦ ਵੈਡਿੰਗ ਸੌਂਗ ਆਫ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ is as follows. You heard it being sung just now, the last song. ਜੈ ਘਰ ਕੀਰਤ ਆਖੀਐ ਕਰਤੇ ਕਾਹੇ ਵਿਚਾਰੋ। ਜਿਸ ਮਨ ਅੰਦਰ ਉਸ ਕਰਤੇ ਦੀ ਕੀਰਤੀ ਤੇ ਉਸ ਦੀ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ, the mind which contemplates on the creator within the base of your triangle. The relationship within the creator is the base of the triangle. So the next verse is ਤਿਤ ਘਰ ਗਾਵੋ ਸੋਹੇਲਾ ਸਵਰਿਓ ਸਿਰਜਣਹਾਰੋ। ਐਸੇ ਮਨ ਅੰਦਰ ਤਿਤ ਘਰ, ਅਜਿਹੇ ਮਨ ਅੰਦਰ ਫਿਰ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਦਾ ਗੀਤ, ਆਨੰਦ ਦਾ ਗੀਤ ਗਾਇਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ, ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਚੱਲਦਾ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ। The mind will always sing this song of union. That mind will forever revel in the joy of this song. The next verse is ਤੁਮ ਗਾਵੋ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਕਾ ਸੋਹੇਲਾ ਹਉ ਵਾਰੀ ਜਿਤ ਸੋਹੇਲੇ ਸਦਾ ਸੁਖ ਹੋਏ ਰਹਾਓ। ਐ ਮੇਰੇ ਮਨ ਤੂੰ ਇਹ ਮੇਰੇ ਕਰਤੇ ਵਾਲਾ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਭਰਿਆ ਗੀਤ ਗਾ। ਮੈਂ ਵਾਰੇ ਜਾਵਾਂ ਇਸ ਗੀਤ ਤੋਂ ਜਿਸ ਦੀ ਬਰਕਤ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਸਦੀਵੀ ਸੁਖ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ। O mind, sing this song of union. Sing it always. I am a sacrifice to it because it brings eternal joy. ਅੱਗੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਲਿਖਦੇ ਹਨ, ਸੰਬਤ ਸਾਹਾ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਮਿਲ ਕਰ ਪਾਵੋ ਤੇਲ ਦੇ ਸੱਜਣ ਸੀਸੜੀਆਂ ਜਿਉਂ ਹੋਵੇ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸਿਓ ਮੇਲ। The ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸਿਓ ਮੇਲ is the base of the triangle. ਮਿਲ ਕਰ ਪਾਵੋ ਤੇਲ is an interesting allegory, an interesting idiom. ਵਿਆਹ ਦੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਮਾਈਆਂ ਪਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਰਸਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਆਪਾਂ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਚਾਚੀਆਂ ਤਾਈਆਂ ਭਰਜਾਈਆਂ ਸਹੇਲੀਆਂ ਰਲ ਕੇ ਵਿਆਹ ਵਾਲੀ ਕੁੜੀ ਦੇ ਸਿਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇਲ ਪਾਉਂਦੀਆਂ ਹਨ। ਮਿਲ ਕਰ ਪਾਵੋ ਤੇਲ ਵਿਆਹ ਦਾ ਗੀਤ ਹੈ। ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਇਸ਼ਨਾਨ ਕਰਾਉਂਦੀਆਂ ਹਨ ਅਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਾਲ ਸੁਹਾਗ ਦੇ ਗੀਤ ਗਾਉਂਦੀਆਂ ਹਨ। ਪਤੀ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਸੁਖੀ ਵਸਣ ਲਈ ਅਸੀਸਾਂ ਦਿੰਦੀਆਂ ਹਨ। ਇਸ ਰਸਮ ਤੋਂ ਪ੍ਰਤੀਕ ਲਿਆ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਨੇ ਅਤੇ ਉਚਾਰਨ ਕੀਤਾ, ਦੇਹ ਸੱਜਣ ਅਸੀਸੜੀਆਂ ਜਿਉਂ ਹੋਵੇ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸਿਓ ਮੇਲ ਕੇ। ਐ ਸਿੱਖਾ ਮੇਰੀ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਸ ਹੈ, ਇਹ ਸੁਹਾਗ ਜੋੜੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੀ ਅਸੀਸ ਹੈ, ਪ੍ਰੋਵਾਈਡਡ ਯੂ ਮੇਕ ਦ ਗੁਰੂ the base of your triangle. This is the assis, this is the blessing. ਦੇ ਸੱਜਣ ਅਸੀਸੜੀਆਂ ਜਿਉਂ ਹੋਵੇ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸਿਓ ਮੇਲ. This is the final verse. Guru Nanak is saying, may you realize the creator within you and may you then enjoy the bliss of that triangular union. And Guru Nanak offers his blessings in the final verse. ਦੇ ਸੱਜਣ ਅਸੀਸੜੀਆਂ ਜਿਉਂ ਹੋਵੇ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸਿਓ ਮੇਲ. So these are the three things, so the four things that I wanted to say that you ought to be mindful of. And I do hope that in the process of your life that you live together, both of you, you will appreciate that this is the grist that is advocated by Guru Nanak and Gurbani. Living life mindful of the beauty of life. Mindful of being service to others, mindful of living in a way that we bring to life all that is good within us and around us. Yesterday, if you paid attention, the final lam, the fourth line, the first verse was Har Chauthari Lam Man Sahaj Paya. And the word Sahaj really means natural and everyday existence. Be mindful always. Be mindful permanently, not like a pendulum. Today we are mindful, tomorrow we are not. now you see it, now you don't. So Sahaj means be mindful in a permanent state. Thank you, Sar Sangat ji, for your very kind attention. ਜੁੜ ਬੈਠੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਦਾ ਮੇਰੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਤਹਿ ਦਿਲੋਂ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਹੈ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬੜੇ ਪਿਆਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇੱਕ ਰਸ ਇੱਕ ਮਨ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਸਰਵਣ ਕੀਤੇ ਨੇ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਵਿਚਾਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਆਧਾਰ 'ਤੇ ਕਈਆਂ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਜੀਵਨ ਦਾ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਬਣਾਉਣਾ। ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਵੈਰੀ ਮਚ ਐਂਡ ਮੇ ਯੂ enjoy eternal love, eternal peace, and eternal bliss in your married life. Parvinderjeet Singh and Manpreet ji.
Dev sajne assi sadiyan, Dev sajne